Good evening. Welcome to everyone for attending tonight's special session of the Executive Committee. Hopefully you all have the same feeling of sadness that I have. One, because we're meeting. I didn't want to meet. I didn't want to see anybody during July and August. So seeing how I wasn't successful at that, let me say welcome. It is with love that I regretfully want to sit here and talk to you all, but I'm excited that we are still in a position of doing the business of the community and the business of the constituents we serve. Number two, let me say at the outset, please do not provide any more chatter than is required when it's time for you to speak. That includes board members and guests. We appreciate brevity. So anybody who can be succinct and brief tonight will get the award of being let out of the meeting early. So I appreciate everyone for that, because I think we have a lot of awards to give. However, I don't want to rush the business that we need to do. So let's make sure we do that. The meeting is being recorded, and I remind everyone of the protocol of Community Board 2. I am Lenny Singletary, and I serve as the chairperson. Our vice chairs are Mr. Leonard Jordan. If you're on, wave your hand. And Ms. Barbara Zala-Gringer, if you on, raise your hand. Our secretary is Jessica Thurston. Would you raise your hand? And there you have the executive officers of Community Board 2. I welcome you all to tonight's meeting. The agenda has been submitted and distributed by Taya Muller, representing the board office. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda, and have you seen it? I don't suggest that there are any edits, but if there are, please speak and communicate that now.
Just one, Lenny, that we're going to have 115 Montague go first.
We are.
Taya, I don't know if you can provide other context, but it seems fine to me.
A small request to accommodate a travel schedule if no objection.
No, I have no objection. I'm fine with that. That's perfect. All right. So when we get there, when we get to new applications, we'll deal with that first. Any other edits? Tay, I'm confused. I see adoption of previous minutes from June. What is that? That's a typo. You mean June exec committee meeting? Okay. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes for the June exec committee meeting? Great. If there's any edits or any corrections, I'd ask that you send them into the board office. And is everyone adopting the minutes that have been submitted? If so, you can just raise your hand or nod your head. This doesn't require a formal vote. Okay, great, thank you. Before we proceed with the agenda, if there are members from the community who are not, who do not have a speaking part, and you have an item on the agenda that you'd like for us to address in this special call meeting. Now, this isn't a regular meeting of the general body. This is just a special call meeting of the exec committee. If you have an item you'd like for us to address, let me pause now so we can hear that. Okay, great, thank you. So we will proceed with the agenda. The first set of items are for review by the HES committee, and they will go before the full board for our meeting in September as a report, because we are going to act on behalf of the full board at this meeting for the HES items, just to be clear, for the HES items. And so with that, let me just read what they are, and then I'll turn it over to the chairperson. So what you see on the agenda are new applications for full wine, beer, and cider. Then you see new applications for wine, beer, and cider. Then there are items for administrative review. The items for administrative review are FYI only. There is no action that's required to be taken by this body. The items for renewal are listed as on the screen as well, both for full liquor, wine, beer, and cider. And the same holds true for wine, beer, and cider. We will collectively, unless there's an objection at the time of the process, take all of these items in one slate. They will not be taken itemized. They will be done collectively for approval or rejection. as one slate. And then we'll jump into item B of the agenda. So with that, let me turn this portion of the agenda over to our chairperson of the Health, Environment, and Social Services Committee, and that is Mr. Brandon Smith.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Singletary. Hope you had a nice summer, and same for everybody else. My name is Brandon Smith. I'm chair of the Health, Environment, Social Services Committee, and my vice chair is Nicole McKnight. Also grateful to be joined by our amazing secretary, Jessica Thurston. We're going to hold the application of L'Appartement 4F 115 Montague first, I understand. So if we have an applicant here from that establishment, it'd be great to hear from them and potentially to see the application.
Yes, hi, Brandon. Thank you. Donald Bernstein, attorney for the applicant. My clients are here. They are currently in France, so we appreciate you taking this so that they don't have to stay up till 2 in the morning. I think I can be
Donald,
very brief.
do you mind holding 1 second and we're just going to bring up the files? I'm so sorry for that.
Of course.
Donald, you could go ahead with your preamble. We're just pulling them up.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. I think I can be brief. This is a beer and wine license application. My clients who are married, well, soon to be married, and the only owners have opened this bakery on Montague Street in, I think, on May 14th of this year. It's a lovely place. They occupy the ground floor, and there is a mezzanine. You can walk to the counter and get some delicious baked goods, coffee, other soft drinks, and take it to go, or go upstairs to the mezzanine and sit and have it there. They have been asked by their customers, they're currently closing at about 8 o'clock at night. They've been asked by their customers if they could stay open later. And what they'd like to do is be able to stay open till 11 p.m., 7 nights, and be able to offer beer and wine as in addition to the food. The space is small. It's only 800 square feet. There are 7 tables and 18 seats inside. They will take advantage of the DOT seating and have 6 tables and 12 seats. As I said, the hours end at 11 p.m. They will open at 7 a.m. The music is background music only. It's a lovely place. They have 25 employees. About half or more of them are working what is shown as the restricted area, baking and preparing the food. And that's the application.
Thank you very much. Could you just give a little bit of color on the outdoor seating?
Yeah. Do you guys want to speak to that at all? Is it shown? I'm not sure if it's shown on the floor plan. So it will be 6 tables and 12 seats on Montague. They don't
Okay.
have that currently, but they'll have they'll apply for the DOT permit and have that.
Okay. Are there residents that are proximate to this location?
Yes, and we've supplied petitions. I think we have about 40 or 50 petition signatures that we've submitted that are attached to the questionnaire that you have up.
Great. Okay. Any questions from members of the committee? Hearing none. Any questions from members of the public about this application, 115 Montague? Or other board members?
I have a question.
Ms. Ellegringer?
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I just want to make sure these tables are going to be on the sidewalk and not the street.
Is that right? Yes, my clients are nodding their heads.
Thank you.
Right, and Ms. Mueller has noted that they're supported by Brooklyn Heights Association, 96 petition signatures. Okay, hearing that, in the absence of any other questions, does anyone wish to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Mr. Meyer, and was that Mr. Jordan with the second?
Yes.
Excellent. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, if anyone can indicate their favor by raising their hand virtually or otherwise.
And just to be clear to the new board members, this is just open to executive committee members.
Outdoor seating, because that's the first question.
Thanks,
asked.
Jessica.
And only the chairman, the chair of the committee. If
That's
present,
correct.
or the alternate if they're not.
That's correct. Thanks.
Ms. Peterson is an alternate for
Yeah.
Mr. Fulton this evening.
That's why I raised my hand.
Yeah, we know. Thanks, Denise. Happy work.
Wonderful.
Great.
Looks like we have unanimous vote.
I'm sorry, let me just make another highlight. Mr. Gordon couldn't be with us this evening, so Daughtry is representing
Yes.
the land use committee.
Yeah, Daughtry, I don't know that I saw your vote. How do you vote? Okay, in favor. Okay, cool.
Okay,
Thanks, Daughtry.
excellent. Well, congratulations to the applicants and good luck with the license.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Good night and enjoy the rest of your summer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. We'll go down the block to 121 Montague, Chama Mama LLC. We have somebody here from that location.
Yes, good evening, Anthony Caraballo for the representative. He's the representative for Chama Mama, 121 Montague Street. The owner, Tamara Chubanitse, is present with us as well. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So essentially, this is a full liquor license application. This is the old Lopan Quotidian, was licensed there since 2012, had a beer and wine. My client has extensive experience. She has 2 active licenses in Manhattan that have full liquor licenses, one at 149 West 14th Street, the other one at 373 Amsterdam, very well received. She's also looking at another location in Park Avenue in Manhattan. There will be 21 tables with 89 seats. There's a bar that'll have 14 seats. The hours will be 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days. Background music only, projecting upwards to 35 employees, which will all be local hires. And essentially background music only. And there will be the DOT seating also when the time comes, which would be 6 tables with 12 seats. I'd be glad to address any questions the committee may have.
Once again, on the outdoor seating, where is that going to be located?
That would be on the sidewalk, Brandon.
Okay. Great. And it looks like you have residents adjacent to the premises, but not actually within the premises.
Yeah, we submitted 19 petition signatures and Tamara was away, so I'm sure she would have been able to obtain some more. But when she got back, she was able to get these signatures. But again, she's an experienced operator. She has liquor licenses already in Manhattan. She's been very well received.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I see that this has also received a supportive letter from the Brooklyn Heights Association. All right, any questions from members of the committee?
I have a question.
Sure, Barbara.
I just wanted to confirm that this is wait staff service, and I wanted to find out what kind of food is being served.
Yeah, this is wait staff service. Hi, Barbara. Good evening. And it's Georgian cuisine, so it's pretty unique cuisine.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from other board members or members of the public? Hearing none, Does anybody wish to make a motion on this application?
I move that it be approved.
Motion from Ms. Feibush. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Gringer. Discussion? Hearing none. Anyone who wants to vote in favor, if you could do so now by raising your hand or indicating in the Zoom. Right. And for anyone who is not in favor or abstaining, could you please indicate now? It appears we have a unanimous vote in favor. Good luck with the establishment.
Thank you so much.
Next on the agenda tonight is 7 Greene Avenue, 007 Nigel LLC. We have somebody here from that.
Yeah, good evening, Anthony Caraballo again for the representative Tomer Bleckman. His partner Geraldo Estevez was going to join us from Mexico. Fortunately, he called me about an hour ago and his mom had to go to the hospital. So she's going to be okay, but he will not be able to join us. So this is a full liquor license for 7 Greene Avenue. Just like my prior client, this applicant has 2 existing establishments. He's already in this community board at Miss Ada 184 DeKalb from 2017 to present. Again, very well received. He also has a lovely coffee shop at 360 Smith Nilly. He's been there since 2020, has a license there as well. We have 47 petition signatures. Again, 25 employees projected, so substantial jobs to the community. This is the restaurant. The prior location was number 7 restaurant. It's also my client. They moved to Vanderbilt. They were there since 2008. So Tomer took this space. So there's been a liquor license at this space since 2008, basically. It's 1,400 square feet, medium-sized venue, 16 tables with 42 seats. There is a bar with 20 seats. The hours of operation are 5 p.m. to midnight, Monday to Wednesday, 5 p.m. to 2 a.m., Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Saturday, they'll open at 11 for brunch, and Sunday will be 11 to midnight. Background music, an occasional DJ on the weekends. It's a restaurant just for, it'll be conversational, just to have an option to do that. And again, we'd love to address any questions the committee might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any renting out of this location for private parties?
No.
Okay. And the, let's see, the outdoor seating, there's no outdoor seating at this location either.
Yeah, the entrance to the train is right there. If you guys know this location, the train comes right up to their entrance. So they really can't put any tables on the sidewalk there.
Okay, this is Greene and Fulton / Oxford Street approximately.
Yeah, it's a little triangle over there. It's right off of Fulton.
Are there residents above or adjacent?
Yeah, well, the 47 petition signatures were basically residents in the area that were obtained.
Okay, and I see that you're going to do soundproofing, which will be relevant, I guess, with the occasional DJ that will be coming in there until the DJ is going to play until 2 a.m.
Well, Tomer, I don't know if you want to jump in on this. The DJ will be occasional on weekends only. I'm not sure it'll go till 2 a.m. Tomer, you want to interject?
Yeah. So basically the background music is going to be almost the same volume as the DJ. It's not going to be a high volume. It's just going to be more of like make the environment aware of the DJ, have some more kind of like fun, but it's not going to be so late. It's going to be probably playing until from 8 until midnight, and that's it.
Okay. Questions from the committee, Barbara?
Yeah, I just wanted, I was going to ask about the time, and can you give us your assurance that the DJ won't be playing beyond 12 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from members of the committee? All right, members of the public, other board members with respect to 9 Greene Avenue. Any questions for the applicant? Hearing none, is there anyone who wants to make a motion?
So move.
Motion for Mr. Meyer. Is there a second?
Second,
Okay.
that was me.
Oh, Miss Gustafson, I apologize. I think Miss Feibush had her hand up first. I saw it. Unfortunately, you weren't in my window, so I'm giving Miss Feibush the second. If we have is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, could you please indicate if you'd like to vote in favor by raising your hand or indicating in the Zoom otherwise? Excellent. If you oppose or abstain, could you please so indicate now? Okay. Looks like we have a unanimous approval. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Next on our agenda tonight, we have 69 Lafayette Avenue, Margot. We have somebody here from, is that you again, Mr. Caravello?
Hi, everybody. Anthony Caraballo from Margot, Brooklyn. This is a full liquor license. I'm joined by the two owners, Hallie Chambers and Greene. This old establishment was Academy Restaurant. Back to 2012 to 2019, they had a license at the premises. So it's previously been licensed. It's a 1,200 square foot venue. It's medium to small, 22 tables, 58 seats, small bar with 7 seats. The hours will be 5 p.m. to midnight, 7 days, background music only. Both applicants, Hallie and Kipling, have half a decade of experience in the industry. Hallie ran the Oberon Group for 5 years, which has several restaurants in the area. They're actually next on the agenda. Everybody's connected in Brooklyn, unlike any borough. Even Tomer, my last client, knew of Hallie when he saw the agenda. So they have significant experience in the industry. They obtained 59 petition signatures. Again, substantial jobs to the community, north of 25 jobs, and they will make every effort to hire locally. And we'd be glad to answer any questions the committee might have. Thank you.
Okay, great. And I assume that the 12 p.m. in the application reference is 12 a.m. and that you can fix that and send it back to the board office.
Sure.
The outdoor seating, where is that located at this application?
Hallie, do you want to jump in on that? Where are we with the outside?
It would just
seat?
be the sidewalk.
Thank you.
How many tables and chairs for this?
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of that question.
It's just how many tables and chairs?
I think
The
we
outside.
were saying about 6 tables, 12 chairs, just on South Elliott.
Right. Excellent. Questions from members of the committee for this application? Okay, hearing none. Any questions from members of the public or board members for this application? Okay. As Mueller has noted, there are 59 petition signatures of support. One letter of objection that was of a general nature concerning noise and disorder I assume in the neighborhood. Is that correct, Ms. Mueller?
That's correct.
Okay. And no record of complaints against the operators. All right. So with regard to this application 69 Lafayette, I haven't heard anything further. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Okay. Ms. Thurston moves to approve. I'll second the motion. Any discussion on this? Okay, hearing none. If you could indicate your approval by raising your hand and or otherwise indicating in the Zoom that you approve. Okay. If you oppose or would like to abstain, could you please indicate that now? Okay, it looks like we have a unanimous approval. Congratulations. Good luck with your establishment.
Thank you so much.
Next up, we have 196 Bergen, Anais.
Yeah, Anthony Caraballo for the applicant, my last promise. So this is the location, 196 Bergen Street. I'm joined by the general manager, Lola, represents the group, actually held Hallie Chambers' position. This is a connection in Brooklyn. So this is, the applicant is Henry Rich. He has several licenses. He has 4 active licenses. He's had several licenses in the past. He owns Rucola at 190 Dean Street. He's also involved in June Restaurant. These are local places, 231 Court. Meta at 197 Adelphi. He has a catering establishment called Purslane. And he has a little eclectic mix. He has the grocery store upstate, an AX license. So this is a wine bar, basically very small venue, 600 square feet. There's only 6 tables with 12 seats, 6 seats bar. The hours of operation will be 7 a.m. So they want to do coffee and some food all day to midnight, Sunday to Thursday, and then 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Once again, background music only. 23 petition signatures were provided, and we'd be delighted to address any questions the committee might have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Regarding the private events, what kind of private events will these be? And will there be somebody from the ownership present there during the private events, or how will that be managed?
Yeah, there will always be somebody representing the employed by the applicant. And these events, I think, would be in the area of like 1 or 2 a month. And one of the reasons for this is one of the companies that Henry Rich has is a Purslane is a catering establishment. So sometimes there's a call for events. And if it's a very small event, because again, this is a very small venue, 6 tables, 12 seats, 600 square feet, it'd be something they might have at this particular practice. But it's not going to be the main theme. I said it may be 1 to 2 a month, if that.
Well, what would the nature of the events be? Could you give like an example or something?
Yeah,
like
Lola
that?
jump in, but I would they do a lot of wine tastings and things. This is the wine bar, so there will be calm, tranquil events on the small side due to the size of the venue. They can't do much bigger in that particular space.
Okay, and could you just clarify outdoor seating on this? For this application, I didn't see it as a.
Yeah, I think they would potentially take advantage of the DOT. It would again it's a small venue, so there'd be probably 6 tables with 12 seats, 6 2 tops.
Okay, on the sidewalk or somewhere else?
It would be on the sidewalk.
Okay. All right, questions from members of the committee, Mr. Meyer?
What was there before?
It was a grocery store, I believe. It was a grocery.
A bodega.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Elvira Deli.
Yeah, it was the bodega, like kind of diagonal from the garden, across from the bike racks, the city bikes.
Oh, it's Bergen and Hoyt and Bond.
Bond, yeah.
Bond, yeah. Okay. All right, thanks. Ms. Gringer?
Right, thank you, Mr. Smith. I have 2 questions. Lola, are you the manager of this restaurant?
No, I'm an associate at the restaurant group, but the manager will actually be coming from Rucola right down the street.
Oh, okay. And how many people under the law are you allowed to have in the restaurant standing?
Well, the capacity would be 74. It's, I believe we have a letter of no objection on file, so, but they wouldn't have anywhere near that. I mean, I think with the tables, and Lola, you can interject here. I mean, standing capacity over there, maybe 10 to 15 people. I mean, even,
It's very cool.
Well,
yeah,
you mentioned events, and events, if it's just a wine tasting, it might just be people standing rather than sitting. So that's why I'm asking.
yeah, it's a good, I mean, Lola, I mean, 50, I mean, it's safe to say, I don't even think the 74 would come into play, correct?
Yeah, the events will really be like tastings for catering. So, you know, not many at all. It's not big elaborate dinners or anything like that.
Thank you.
Any other questions from members of the committee? Hearing none. Any questions from members of the public or other board members for this application? Once again, 196 Bergen. Okay, hearing none. Does anybody like to make a motion?
I'll
Ms.
move.
Flybush,
Mhm.
second? Second.
Daughtry will second.
So I got you. Great.
Thanks.
All right. Ms. Christoffen with the second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Could you please indicate if you're in favor by raising your hand or indicating in the Zoom? Okay. If you're opposed or you abstain, could you please indicate that now? Note Mr. Meyer abstains.
Ms. Peterson, how did you vote? I didn't, you're on mute. You approve?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right. All right. Ms. Scott, I see that you have stated that you're going to abstain. And apologies, I under the executive committee rules, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but I don't believe Ms. Scott is able to vote.
That's correct, but we
That's
appreciate
correct.
you being here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Great. Next up is 327 Gold, Botte Brooklyn LLC.
Botte, Brooklyn.
Oh, apologies.
Botte is the, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so Botte means wine barrel in Italian. So my name is Valerio Fucciolo. I'm one of the two owners. The other owner is Francesco Lauroni. He's on vacation in Italy right now. So we started our first place in Astoria, Queens in 2018, Botte Bar, which has been pretty successful. It's a small place with like 25 seats. Then during the pandemic, we were able to expand it a little bit, and we had extra tables. We did very well. So we opened another place in the Upper East Side on 1606 First Avenue. We also did well. And when we heard that the place on 327 was vacant, we jumped into the opportunity, and we're very excited about it. Our cuisine is Italian. We focus more on Roman cuisine. So we do the thin crust pizza like in Rome. We have an oven, as you can see, it's an oven. We do Roman style pastas. We have amatriciana, carbonara, cacio e pepe. So we have a selection of like 15 different types of pastas. We open for lunch. We open for dinner every day, 11 to, I mean, we actually open at noon right now. And I mean, the liquor license, it's a full liquor license until noon, but at the moment we're closing around 10. I don't know if in the future we're gonna have the opportunity to stay open a little bit later. Yeah. So it's 86 seats, 10 seats at the bar. You know, we have a selection of Italian style cocktails like spritzes, Negroni, and stuff like that. We have a lot of appetizers, meatballs, egg rolls, egg parmigiana, the traditional Italian stuff, but we focus a little bit on the Roman style.
Sorry, I was on mute. How long have you been open at this point?
We opened July 7th.
Okay, so a little bit over a month or so.
Yes.
It seems that we received a letter of potential objection to your establishment from a member in the community, indicating that you were using the sidewalk area and playing music outside. Does any of that strike a chord with you?
There's a speaker outside that was there before. I mean, I didn't know it would have been an issue, but I don't know. I mean, if that's a problem, we can mute it.
Well, what is it that you intend to do here with your application in terms of music?
Oh, just background music.
Okay.
We were considering some live acoustic music, but I mean, it's not like anything that we're planning to do right now. You know, maybe in the future, but only like maybe like guitar and voice, something like that. Because we have a little bit of space in the.
Will that be indoors only?
Indoor, yeah. No, there's no. Yeah.
So that means you can't be playing the speaker outside if you go that way. Does that make sense?
All right. I mean, it's okay.
Well, it's up to you.
I mean, the place that was there before had the music, I guess. So I don't. I mean, I'm not sure about this. I mean, if you say that we cannot play, they'll just mute it.
Well, no,
I don't know.
It's up to you what you do with your application.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would like to have that speaker playing if it's possible.
Okay, are you able to maybe keep?
It's not. We're not gonna play like loud music. Just a little bit during the operation. You know, during the hours of operation, just to create a little bit of vibe. You know.
Okay. It looks like you have no outdoor seating?
Basically, no.
Okay. So would you be willing to cut off the outdoor music at a little bit of an earlier hour? Because it looks like if you're going to play it until midnight,
well, I mean,
it seems like that's a little late.
Yes, I agree. I think the latest we're going to play it is going to be 10 p.m.
Okay.
I'll make sure the managers know.
Now, in regards to the sidewalk, it seems like you're not applying to have any sort of outdoor seating. Are you using any part of the sidewalk currently?
So basically, I don't know if the location, if you see the pictures, there's you know, there's a step like at the entrance. So I mean, there's like a little counter with 2 stools there. We haven't really used it, but I don't know. We're not planning on asking for an outdoor seating cafe. I mean, definitely not this year. I don't know honestly if there is a possibility to do that.
Okay, so as it stands in your application, you're not proposing to have any outdoor seating?
No.
Is that right? Okay. All right, we can pick this up with and let others jump in. Ms. Thurston?
Thanks, Brandon. My questions are similar, but Mr. Fucillo?
Fucino, thank you.
Thank you. I just want to understand, it sounds like, have you applied for the open streets license with the DOT, Department of Transportation?
No, we didn't. We didn't because we weren't planning. Actually, we opened in July. I know that's a possibility. We weren't sure at the time.
I asked because it sounds like the letter of opposition we received stated that you are using outdoor space. So we just want to, these questions we're asking are due diligence questions on behalf of the community. And so if community members are concerned about the noise and the use of the sidewalk today, that raises some red flags for us. So that's why we want to understand whether you're sort of going through the right channels as it is now. That's why I asked that.
Yeah, I mean, we're not using the sidewalk. We're not using, we're not seeing people outdoor.
Okay, thanks.
Ms. Saylor Gringer?
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I need a little clarification here. You mentioned that you have like a counter that comes outside and there'd be a couple of stools outside at this counter. Is that accurate or not? Am I misunderstanding it?
I mean, I don't know how to explain. There is like, how do you say? So basically the level of the entrance is above the
sidewalk.
Yeah. So there is this space, and I mean, there was a little counter with two stools that was there before. I mean, again, but
and are you still using that?
We cannot put the stools. I mean, you see, there is up here, yeah, on the left side. There's a mini counter, yeah. Yes.
All right, well, the question would be, if you're not using the outside at all, why would you need music outside?
Oh, there is just one speaker. I mean, I guess I think it's attractive. Have a little bit of music. There is a speaker that was, you can see up here to the left side. There's a little speaker.
The complaint, if it's helpful, came from this building, directly adjacent.
And what's next to the restaurant on the other side? Taya, could we see that picture? Oh, okay, it's sort of nondescript. All right. Again, I'm just wondering, if you're not doing anything outside, why you would need a speaker outside?
I mean, personally, I like to have a little bit of music outside. If it's a problem for the community, I'll just remove it. And I just like the idea. When when we open, there's a little bit of music. If that's again, the speaker was already there, so I assume the previous owner was using it. Again, I don't. If some of some people from the community don't like that, I'm willing to remove it.
And you're willing to, would you be willing to turn off the speaker at 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
I mean,
Thank you.
There's just a bottom there. It's very easy. I instruct the employees to turn it off at 9. That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Mueller, did we ever receive any complaints about the prior occupant of this location?
Not to my knowledge. No, well,
okay.
Again, not in the last, not during COVID.
I mean, it could be, I'm sorry, that maybe the employees one night, I don't know, I gotta make sure now, because I wasn't even aware about this problem. Maybe when they were like closing up, maybe they raised the volume and they were like, listening to some music. Maybe that's what happened. So I'll make sure they don't do that. Maybe I wasn't aware of this situation. But again, first of all, I can't guarantee we don't play music loud outside, just a little bit of music that you can hear just in the area when you walk in and when you walk by. And again, we can turn it off at 9, absolutely no problem. And I'm sure that there was maybe one night some of the employees raised the volume. That's what maybe happened.
Okay. I want to make sure we're incorporating everybody, and I want to also take note is there anybody from the community or other board members who have a question in regards to this application?
Ms. Scope has her hand raised.
Ms. Scope.
Unmute,
You're gonna have
yes.
to unmute yourself, please.
I just, like when the application was like flying by, I believe that I saw that the applicant did not request music. So then why are we outdoors? So that takes care of the whole speaker thing, right? Because it's not in the application, but it flew by me quickly. So it might make sense to look at that quickly before we go on.
Well, we can pull it up. I think the application has a line item for music. And it indicates what hours you would like to have your music. Usually it's the case that it applies to the when somebody's having music outdoors, they also have seating outdoors. And I think in this particular application, it was marked NA for the outdoor seating. And then for the music, it just listed the hours, which I believe we're going until midnight. But I think what we've clarified is that they would be shut off at 9 p.m. According to what we've just discussed for the outdoors.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure it's not going to be loud music, but.
No, absolutely not.
Wait a second.
Play some Italian music,
No music.
Okay, Ms. Mueller has clarified the application states no music of any kind outdoors. And so, Ms. Scope, you were vindicated, you were correct. And thank you for raising that point. So if we have that in the application, Mr. Fucillo, I guess you're seeking to amend the application to have the music outdoors until 9 p.m. Is that correct?
No music until, sorry?
Well, the application that you provided says no music outdoors. But what you've been asking for is to have the music until 9 p.m. outdoors.
Yes, I would like to have.
Okay, so
but it's not a problem.
If that's if that's something we agree to, you would just need to amend your application.
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying. Can I amend it? I have to.
Well, you can certainly amend it, but first we have to vote to determine whether we agree with your application.
Oh, all right. Yes. Sorry.
Were there any other questions with respect to this application? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion on the application?
I'll make a motion. But it is a motion that goes with the application as it stands. So motion to approve with the condition of no speakers outside and no outdoor seating unless approved by DOT Open Streets.
Okay. Is there
I'll
a second?
second it.
Yeah,
Second from Ms.
second.
Zeller-Gringer. Okay, discussion on the motion. Well, I just want to say, I think that's a reasonable motion, considering that we have input from the community. That was the statement on the application, and unless there's any further comment, I'm just going to proceed for us to vote on this. So if you're in favor of this application, please, or of this motion, please raise your hand or so indicate, otherwise in Zoom. Okay. Mr. Meyer votes no. And does anyone else wish to vote no or abstain? If so, please indicate now.
Ms. Peterson, are you no or abstain?
Abstaining.
Great. And Mr. Jordan, I see your hand still up. You voted in favor though, correct?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's totally fine. And Mr. Singletary, I think I might have missed your hand for one of those.
I voted support. I voted in support of the motion.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. So congratulations, Mr. Fucillo. Please understand the conditions of the motion include no music outdoors, and any outdoor seating would need to get separately approved.
Okay.
Great. Next up, we are moving on to Wine, Beer, and Cider, 9 Old Fulton, Birbante LLC. Anybody here from 9 Old Fulton?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Danny? Mr. Danny, are you from 9 Old Fulton Street?
Correct. 9 Old Fulton Street, Dumbo.
Okay, great. Do you want to tell us about your application?
Yeah, my attorney is Tommy Cannell.
Okay, is your attorney here, or do you feel, are you able to present without them?
Well, I don't mind really.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. So it looks like your application.
Excuse me, Mr. Smith. I am here. This is Thomas McCowan. I just don't have a photo.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I don't know where it went.
McCallum,
Yes, sir.
I'll be happy to give you the floor. Do you want to walk through this application?
I do. I appreciate that very much, sir. He's a known quantity in the community. Danny operates 7 Old Fulton. All right, 7 Old Fulton Street Restaurant. He's been there for years. And this is a new application. It had formerly been a courtyard for 7 Old Fulton with outdoor dining for a number of years. And the landlord removed the courtyard and he constructed this edifice. It's a 4-story building. So Danny has expanded to the adjacent space at 7 Old Fulton, and that's the application before you.
Okay. We have any outdoor seating at this location?
Not at this time, but it's anticipated once he settles in that he will be applying with the New York City Open Street Dining Program. Anticipated 5 tables, 10 seating.
Okay. Any complaints or issues with the other establishments that were owned?
Danny's had decades of experience, none that I'm aware of, and I'd be surprised if Danny has had complaints. Dan, speak for yourself. I've represented him for decades, so I know of none. It's fine dining, both places. 7 Old Fulton is more of a heavier menu, veal chops, traditional Italians. This is a little bit lighter fare, more continental.
Okay.
I don't have no complaints for 14 years I'm here.
Wonderful. Can we flip back up to the hours?
11 to 10, we close the kitchen, but by 11 o'clock, place is closed.
Okay. Great. And the music is background music?
Yeah, it's very small background music. It's area here doesn't come for music. They come to either to leave the place. No music, only small background music. A couple speakers.
Okay. And what is this TBD on the private events?
Private events,
No private events.
No private events. Okay. We may need to just update the application and confirm that. But
well, yeah, at this point, Danny, you've had a private event, or whether it be a birthday party from time to time, at 7 Old Fulton, correct?
If somebody called for 10 people, I accommodate 10 people for dinner. Party 10 people.
Right, but not a buyout for the entire restaurant.
No.
And that's in large part, Mr. Smith, that's in large part, he mostly accommodates the tourists. It's more of a tourist destination.
An out place.
Okay, I would just ask if the answer is really no, we're not doing private events, to indicate that on the application.
All right, we can get it modified and return it to the offices.
Great. All right, questions from the committee on this application? Hearing none. Questions from board members or members of the community on this application, 9 Old Fulton. What's going on? I can note 15 indications of support were received with no objections. All right. Hearing no further questions or comments on this, I'll be open to hear a motion.
Make a motion to accept Mr. Smith.
Mr. Jordan moves to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Was that Ms. Christopherson?
It was. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Ms. Christopherson seconds. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. If you're in favor, please raise your hand or indicate in the Zoom. Excellent. If you oppose or would like to abstain, please indicate now. Okay, it looks like this was unanimously approved. Congratulations. Good luck with your establishment.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate everyone's courtesies.
Everybody.
Good evening.
Right. 110 Smith, we have Tipsy Grape.
Hi, everybody. This is Neil Visaki. Am I coming in clear?
Yes.
Okay. Nice to be here with everybody. So I represent 3 applicants. They're actually attorneys over in Brooklyn, the 11 Law Group, applying for a beer and wine license for what's going to be a small, quaint lounge, jazz lounge. The capacity, I think they're getting an updated letter of no objection. The maximum occupancy is only 66. So inside on the diagram, 23 tables, 46 seats, 10 at the bar. They have a pretty detailed tapas menu serving paninis and different carving boards. The music will be recorded music, and there'll be some acoustic live music, specializing in jazz. What else? Let's see. I know outside, I did notice that they put a significant amount of tables and outside, but I'm not. Actually, you know, I do 95% of my liquor license stuff is on Staten Island, where really the clients don't have to apply for any sidewalk permits or do anything with New York City open streets. It's for basically, you know, private property. And so I'm not too experienced with this outdoor stuff, but Mr. Levin is, you know, he's a pretty bright attorney. I guess he's going to be looking into the laws on what they allow outside. It's a corner property. There's no music. There's going to be no music outside. So, you know, that number outside seems a little extensive to me. I'm sure it'll be minimized to what's, you know, allowed outside per the city. But there is no music outside. The hours are generally either noontime or 1 p.m. till about midnight, or on the weekends. It looks like Friday, Saturday, Sunday till 1 a.m. So not looking to go long hours. And then I think for private events, I believe they just put the hours of operation, when in fact, I looked at the application today in the file, and it's just infrequently at the customer's request. So it's not going to be, you know, rented out mostly for private events. That may be a little misleading, and I apologize. That's really it. They're going to hire a manager who knows how to run a restaurant for sure, or a bar tavern. And I submitted last time, maybe about 20 or so signatures. I sent it back to the clients to get them more in the immediate area. And
yeah, we got 27 petition signatures.
Yeah, was that today or was that from last week? Because today, this morning.
I don't know.
Okay, well, this morning I sent in just short of 30 signatures from, you know, the immediate area, the adjacent area.
Have you spoken with the upstairs residents?
I have not, and I don't think my clients have. So I'm not gonna say they have, but well, you know, the letters of support. Like I said, there's gonna be no outdoor music, just inside background music and some jazz. So I can't say if they actually spoke to anybody upstairs in the building. I would doubt it, but you know, I know the attorney. I'm sure he's going to run a very nice operation for the neighborhood to be proud of.
Where will the outdoor seating be?
Yeah, I apologize again. That's again, because it's a corner
Oh, okay.
property. I don't know if it's going to wrap around and I'm not definitely up with any of these city rules because I don't do any of that in Staten Island. But if if you want to limit it to what would make you folks happy there, I'll certainly run that by my
Well,
client.
I think 10 p.m. would be a little bit better than 1 a.m. for the outdoor seating.
Yeah, I'm sure that won't be a problem.
Okay.
If that's what's typical, then I'm
right. That's why I'm asking, is because that's what's typical.
I'll take the liberty to agree to that at this point.
All right. Questions from members of the committee? Ms. Thurston.
Yeah, it sounds like, sir, you don't know, but I'm very confused about just where the outdoor seating is. I mean, it's on that corner. There's really no space on the sidewalk. It's a fairly busy sidewalk, especially on the Smith Street side on the weekend. I wasn't aware of garden space behind it. I'm trying to look at Google Maps, but since it's not in the schematic and you're asking for 28 outdoor tables and 56 outdoor seats, it's quite extensive. So where is that?
Yeah, I said earlier that it looked pretty extensive to me. And,
I know.
And I'm not right. So it looked. I mean, other people are asking for 6 tables, and so
you don't know where it is.
No, sadly enough, I don't know. But I don't believe there's a rear yard. So I believe it would just be where the city allows it to be in front of the place.
Would you be open? Sorry to interrupt you. Would you be open to coming back once you know where the outdoor seating will be? Because it's kind of hard for us as a community board to opine upon something when we don't even know where the seating is going to be.
Okay. Well, okay. So my clients have waited to file this, and naturally we wanted to come in front of the board. We thought it'd be best to come in front of the board to get some stipulations that we would agree to, and that's why we waited. So I don't know if my clients are going to want to wait another month. I mean, doesn't the city allow it to be in front of? I guess isn't that allowed?
The city does allow for different kinds of outdoor seating. I think the issue is that on literally every other application we hear, we understand where the outdoor seating is actually going to be. But what I could say is this: one, our committee meets again on September 7th, so it's not another month from now. It's a couple of weeks. Perhaps you could either come back with the full application then, or perhaps, and it's up to you, if you'd like us to consider the indoor seating right now, perhaps we could do that. But I wouldn't say I feel comfortable considering the outdoor seating at this point.
No, okay. So can I maybe make a suggestion? Can we, for now, could you just take the application the way I'm presenting it, absent the outside, and then between now and September 7th, if I have to come back or I choose to come back, I'll have much more detailed plan with the outside. You see,
Okay.
I'd rather just do a little piecemeal if you don't mind.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, I'm sorry. I
free to
try
jump
not to ever interject when you're doing an excellent job, as you always do for the committee, but that's unacceptable to me. If you're going to come through with an application, you come whole or nothing at all. So you either bring so I would recommend that for the best interest of your client, that you take this away as some homework, and then that either you or whoever represents the client is better prepared and more familiar with the laws and the requirements of CB2 in Brooklyn. That's in your best interest of your client. That's my free advice to you. Sorry, Mr. Smith.
No worries. So I guess we'll see you on September 7th, Mr. Wazowski.
Well, if I come back on September 7th in regards to the detailed plan of where my client would like to put outdoor seating, would that be sufficient? Because between now and then, I mean, again, I don't plan on becoming an expert on what the city allows outdoors. I'll gladly tell you how many tables, in front. I'll get all the details, in that regards, but I don't really know anything about how the city,
Well, what I'll say is this. What the city allows is a number of things, but what we would expect you to come back with is at least a determination as to where the tables and chairs are going to be outdoors when you come back. And
yeah, absolutely.
we'll absolutely give it the same fair shake that we've given to every other application here and continue to give when you do that.
So, but 9/7 is not the full board, so that would have to actually be voted on and then have to wait till the.
Yeah, the full board's a week later on the 14th.
So, okay, so am I not able to go with what my initial suggestion was, to just do it as if the outside doesn't exist? And if I speak to them, if it's
Correct.
not
You're not able to do that.
I'm not able to do it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much then. I will be back September 7th.
Mr. Visaki, I recommend calling the office to make some time to speak. I'd be happy to guide you through this process.
Who's?
This is Taya Miller from the office. I'll drop the email address.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate that.
Great.
Could
Thank
I
you.
say something?
Barbara's got a question.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
It looks like Mr. Meyer has one as well. I
Oh, that's
think
right.
it
You
would-
can go first.
Thank you. I think it would be helpful if you had someone who owns the restaurant to also participate and was very familiar with the details.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Meyer, did you want to add something as well?
No, I was going to make a motion to disapprove subject to this. So I think that the having him come back is a good idea, because there's a good chance it would get disapproved.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. All right, I'm going to move forward in the agenda.
Can I say something briefly?
Oh, sure, Ms. Feibush, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, I walk by that corner all the time, and I think we need a schematic when this comes before the committee. Like, how many tables would be on Smith? How many would be on Pacific in relation to the door? And if there's a basement that they're going to bring food or liquor up from, because that affects the walkability of both streets.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll see you on the 7th of September. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Hello?
All right. Next up.
Hello?
Sorry, we have somebody. I'm just going to ask if everybody can mute themselves if you're not speaking. The next step in the agenda is there are a number of items up here for administrative review. So what I'm going to do is go through each of these items and ask the board office if there has been any complaints and give everybody an opportunity to ask comments, but the applicants are not here, and I just want to make sure that we're aware of all these different items and hear any concerns that anyone might have. So the first two items are items of reapplication. 275 Park and 327 Atlantic. These have all been voted and approved by the board and the executive committee. And as a common circumstance we've seen during COVID, the application has lapsed. So the same application is being represented, which was previously approved. These applicants have not opened yet. So the application is to effectively approve the same application that was previously approved. The second two applications are related to alterations. From what I understand, the 620 Atlantic Avenue application, Barclays Center, involves an alteration that's inside their existing premises. 978 97A Hoyt Mile End Deli is making an application to include some additional seating within a premises that they own indoors. The corporate change applications for 3840 Henry Noodle Pudding and 430 Albee Square West Hook and Reel relate to a change of the owners at that location. And I believe 430 Albee Square West is a kiosk within the Decal Market Food Hall. Then we have a list of renewals here, which consist of 63 Flushing, Hull number 212, the first floor and the 16th floor, HNY Ferry DBA Seize the Day, Flick International, the restaurant and the catering license, 321 Ashland, Great Performances, 76 4th Avenue, 4th Avenue Pub, 228, 230 Atlantic Brazenhead, 143 Montague Grand Canyon, 130 Flushing, 66S Fusion, 561 Myrtle, the Emerson, 21 Clark, the Watermark, 131 Atlantic, Floyd, 620 Atlantic, Barclays Center, 75 Smith New Hotel, and a beer, wine, and cider, 70 Hudson Cafe Gitan. Ms. Muller, for the applicants that are currently operating here, have there been any complaints received by the board office?
There have been no complaint, no objections, none, absolutely none.
Okay. All right. Are there any committee members, board members, or members of the public who want to be heard briefly with respect to these items? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the items for administrative review.
I'm sorry, what?
So moved.
Mr. Meyer.
Second.
and Second from Mr. Jordan. I think we may have cut a community member off here. Mr. Townsend. Mr. Townsend, we can hold off on the motion for a second, but I don't want to cut you off. I know you've spoken with us before in the past. You want to briefly state what your comment is?
Well, that myself, other residents of the building, the 216 signers of our petition that we have sent to the office are quite opposed to the opening of a live performance venue in the 275 Park Avenue. We've submitted lots of documentation for committee members to review. I sent a PDF that included a lot of comments that people left on the petition, the online petition, as well as going all the way back to the first meeting where we feel that there were, what's the correct word, misrepresentations by the prospective proprietors, where they relayed false information from the landlords of the building to the prospective proprietors, probably to get them to sign the lease. I know that, say, I've submitted something, and at least two of my neighbors also submitted something that that we asked to be circulated prior to this meeting.
Okay, well, thanks for raising your comments. I understand this is regard to 275 Park Avenue?
Yes, it is.
So let me amend my motion to remove 275 Park Avenue.
No, sorry, I need to cut you off, Sid, 1 second. Your motion is not applicable to the administrative review items. Your motion is only applicable to the renewals and the for full liquor, wine, beer, cider, and then the wine, beer, and cider. These administrative review items, as I stated at the outset, are an FYI. Vote has already been taken. There's nothing we can do this evening. And while I appreciate the comments of Mr. Townsend, I would advise Mr. Townsend to call the board office, and we can advise you of a way to communicate those concerns with the state liquor authority. But there's nothing we can do this evening to address that.
Okay, we've been in contact with the State Liquor Authority, and then we will wait to find out when the hearing is for 275 Park and present our case there.
Excellent.
Okay,
And just,
thank you.
Just to be clear, it's not that it's a matter of not wanting to acknowledge and appreciate the feedback. It's a matter of timing because this already took place when we created the vote. So that's the concern there.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Thank you both.
Then
All
my
right.
motion stands as to the renewals.
Okay, and could
And-
someone
and
remind
I-
me who's the second here? Is that Mr. Jordan?
I seconded it, yeah.
Great. All right, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. If you approve, could you so indicate by raising your hand or indicating in Zoom? If you are opposed or abstain, could you please so indicate that now?
Can I just, did Daughtry drop off or am I just not seeing her?
Yes, Ms. Karstoffen had to exit.
Okay, thanks. Just want to reflect the totals correctly.
All right. All right, so that has been approved. I believe I've concluded my portion of the agenda here.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate you leading this part of the agenda. The next item on the agenda is a report from the Transportation Committee. I do want to say before I turn it over to the chair is that as is our custom, we generally do not have committee meetings during July and August. That's reserved solely for the executive committee. But in the case of the item at hand, and listening to the feedback from the community, at the suggestion of the chair, I agreed to have a meeting take place. And the chair, Mr. Meyer, will give a report on that meeting. To be clear, this is an action item for September for the full board. I know we have taken the position that in July and August, we are able to act on behalf of the entire board, but this is an item that is requiring support of the entire community, and therefore I'm making a recommendation for us to hold this over and not take an action tonight, but take it before the full board, which gives them chance for everyone to be able to communicate and give feedback on the item when it's time to take place. Jessica?
Thanks. I just want to confirm, when you say that, do you mean both the will be open streets request and the Gates shared street proposal, or just one of those two?
I'm saying everything that's going to be reported this evening under
Okay.
the category of transportation, both items will be held over to the full board.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Meyer.
Good evening, everyone. I mean, this was a meeting, as Lenny says, at my request. We have been meeting to discuss the shared street beginning when it was presented first in June, but we've also been meeting on the Apolline Guillaume Garden at the Willoughby, at the Gates Avenue Triangle, and that's been going on for since December. So at my request, Lenny agreed to allow us to have a special meeting over the summer. There was actually some concern that we would have a problem with quorum. All 12 committee members showed. So we had 100% attendance at the committee meeting. This has been, I want to also thank Taya. It imposed on Taya an additional meeting, and it turned out to be a particularly difficult meeting because we were porno bombed during the meeting, where porno showed up on the screen, and Taya took quick action to resolve that issue. She knows what caused it. I'm not exactly sure. But it was both difficult and personally upsetting, by the way. I was very upset by it. You can hear on the tape that I was particularly upset.
So let's move that part along. Let's go get past that.
It's over. That was the end of that.
Right.
So Willoughby Avenue Open Street is something that was put because the city during the pandemic put the open streets into effect. We had a discussion back and forth with DOT whether or not the board ever had a chance to comment on it, and someone's got their mute on, it's difficult to hear, and it was clear to the board, at least, that we had not had an opportunity. So we had a significant public session a few months ago. We had another open session this time, and upon a motion, we took a motion, and we've asked the DOT to change it from a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week open street to an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. open street. We've asked them to remove one block, the block that's east of Washington, between Washington and Hall. There's in fact a sign on Washington pointing down to go down that street in order to get to Pratt, and it's been particularly difficult. So the motion was made and passed 7-5-0 to approve the open street with these modifications, and for universal signage, correct signage under the new DOT protocols to be put up on the street. So as Tea's put up, limit the hour of operation from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. New signage accurately and consistent with DOT protocols, which clearly indicates who can go onto the street to drop off and pick off, whether it's Uber or Lyft or anybody else, any emergency vehicle, obviously, people making deliveries, and people are allowed to park on those streets. When they go on the street, though, that's a 5-mile-an-hour limit. There are barriers that the people will have to get up and move. There are some issues with that were discussed in great length, but we strongly felt that well, not strongly, I mean, it was 7-5, that it should end at Washington and not contain Hall. We will have a specific action report for the full board meeting, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions. This is John Doe. I would like to speak, though.
I'm not the chair of the meeting. That's
John, you got to hold your comments for me for now. We'll give you a chance to speak in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
So as to the Gage Shared Street and the Apolline Garden, the Apolline Garden was rejected by a vote of, was not approved. I think the correct term, it was not approved. The vote on that, I believe, was 4 in favor, 7 opposed, and 1 abstention. The shared street first came to us in June. It was a new proposal that we had only heard for the first time in June. At this meeting, the DOT came back and modified it. I don't know if Taya has a copy of what the modification is. This over here, I don't know if you can see my spreading on it. That's the shared street. Originally, they were going to take, and I've got to go to my action report. Just hold for 1 second, I'll get my action report open. One second, I apologize. I'll make it quick. The original proposal was to be a one-way, to make it into a one-way street. The amended proposal was a two-way street. The original proposal was to take 21 parking spaces away. The amended proposal removes 13. The original proposal was four bike corrals and nine bike sleds. And the final proposal was for 2 bike corrals and 3 bike sleds, although I'm not 100% sure what a bike sled is. I will have that for the meeting. The speed limit on the shared street will be 5 miles per hour. It is open for parking. It is open for deliveries. It is open for all the kinds of things that people can do on any street, in fact. And the shared street actually can be used as a through street, but the speed limit will be 5 miles per hour. The motion was made to approve the new shared street proposal, and it was approved 8-4 to 0. Again, as I said, there was 12. A reminder, because I have it in front of me now, the proposal to rename make the triangle was a motion to approve it, and that motion failed 4-4, 7 against, and 1 abstention. And I'll be happy to answer any questions anyone may have. I see Esther's hand.
Go ahead, Esther.
I just want to clarify that what we voted down for Apolline Garden was not a garden. We voted down the plaza. It's very important to say plaza, because what the people did not want is a plaza under their window of the people that own the co-op. It's not about a garden. There's already a garden there. Google it. The other thing is, I want this to go on the record. The shared street. First of all, DOT snuck this in here in June. First, it was the garden. We already had plans, not the garden, the plaza. We already knew how that would look. But the shared street all of a sudden came up out of nowhere, and they was going to make it a one-way. And then now they said they was going to make this two-way and this bike shed or whatever. But DOT never really presented it to us, even at this emergency meeting. And I think it was wrong. And I said it then, and I'm saying it now. Because just like Sid just said, he didn't know what a shed is, neither did anybody who voted on this. And I think some of the committee members who voted yes for this did not even have a clear understanding of what they was voting on. That's all I have to say.
And so for those who may not be familiar, Ms. Blount is the vice chair of the Transportation Committee. So thank you for your comments. Typically, we keep these comments to members of the executive committee, as this is not a general full board meeting and it's not a committee of the transportation, but I will allow some brief comments. And so let me start with Ms. Peterson.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to briefly say that I think the best consideration for anything, be it open streets, that's a big controversy right now throughout. I just want to say that I see that there has been some modification presented, limiting the hours, 12 hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., which to me seems like it's a very long period of time to have open streets. And I'm assuming that would be 7 days a week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Is there? Yes.
7 days a week.
Okay. So was there any conversation on any other considerations that would perhaps please those who are objecting and those who would love to see perhaps a 12 hours? Is there any other perhaps part of?
Well, if you want me to answer.
No, actually, let me help answer that. So, Denise, you are absolutely right. This is a topic, and we get them from time to time, probably more often than people realize. We do get topics and items that are made, decisions that are made from city agencies that require us to take a passionate, strong stance about that. What I want to avoid is not rehashing the committee meeting. The committee already had their meeting. As we've always said on the board is that, we're not going to second guess the committee. That's why everyone has the opportunity when their schedule allows and things happen for people to participate. What I will say is part of the reason for holding over this topic so that the general body and people have more time to communicate and get their thoughts together is subsequent to the meeting. There's been a whole host of information that's been shared with the board office and myself directly of additional surveys that have taken place. Emails have come into me where there are members of the community and have submitted information in support of almost 800 individuals who participated in the survey that will directly contradict what DOT has presented.
Exactly.
There is information that has come in from concerned residents and individuals alike, and even board members and public members of the committee that are still trying to understand that if this was a solution in place to help mitigate the constraint of COVID when everyone was quarantined and forced to stay at home, and now that's been removed, why is this still being put into the community? And particularly along the Willoughby corridor with access to so many parks. So there's a whole host of issues that I think still require maybe some additional research before the September meeting, maybe some of the things that'll come out then. But that's why I've asked that we hold this from having action taken tonight. So it gives us a chance to have the office share that information and give people a chance to discuss it more at the September meeting.
Thank you.
Sure, Mr. Howell.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on, Brian, I'm sorry. I think there's another hand up. Ms. Tay, I need you to take this down for me for a second, please. Ms. Johnson, Samantha, did you have your hand up?
I did, but I'm going to ask the question. My apologies. I want to thank the committee for doing this work. It has been a real lot for everyone. But I had a question regarding speed deterrent. Was that even recommended or suggested for the shared streets at 5 miles an hour? What would be the enforcement of that? If that is a conversation that was had.
That's the city rule about shared streets. The shared street, and that's up to the police to enforce it, which means it's not going to get enforced.
Copy, thank you.
Mr. Howell, and then I'm gonna come to Mr. Duke.
I can actually answer that question. The 5 mile per hour speed limit is an advisory one. It's not an actual one that can be enforced. That all the rules regarding to shared streets are simply advisory. I just want to point out a couple things for clarification. We voted separately on the plaza and what's been called the shared street. The shared street is no longer a shared street because they no longer were turning it. It was just simply adding bike corrals. So just want to make clear that it's no longer actually a shared street. And the parking spots taken by that were 3. And then the other thing I want to point out is DOT presented their survey at the meeting, and I'm trying to find their results, but they surveyed 2,048 people, just in case anyone is wondering. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Mr. Duke.
Good evening, Community Board 2. I'm going to be brief, Chair Singletary. I voted against all 3 of what was proposed at the Transportation's last committee meeting. I'm going to just briefly start with Willoughby Avenue. There are certain questions that we asked of DOT that they did not answer. First is, how do the emergency response agencies access the block when it is closed off? When the fire trucks and police cars come, they have full reign to go wherever until they get to Willoughby Avenue. Seconds matter. So how are the people supposed to be safeguarded and get a timely response to emergencies if the streets are closed? And DOT's response was they're in consultation with the agencies. That's after 2 years of consultation. We already know that there are delays from the respective emergency agencies because the people who work and do the response have told the community that there are delays. They don't like the closed gates. Why are we calling it open streets when the streets are actually closed off? All of this has to be discussed because this is like mind control for the community. The streets are being closed and we're calling them open streets. I don't know what that's all about. But DOT could not tell us that the emergency response agencies would not be delayed by those gates because it's obvious they will be delayed by the gates. If it's your grandmother who's having a heart attack, you don't expect the fire truck and EMS to have to get out and move gates before they get there. Or if you're being rescued from a fire, you don't expect the fire truck to have to get out and move gates. They should be able to go down Willoughby Avenue like they do every street in New York City. This whole open streets has to be questioned initially from a safety perspective for the entire city. Mr. Singletary, I'll leave it at that, and I'll save the rest for the full board meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Duda. I appreciate that. Any other comments? Please raise your hand. Again, let me just take this opportunity to say I really appreciate the leadership and the entire committee, both public members and board members, for transportation. None of this stuff is easy, right? And whether we agree and we all come out on the same page, I think that's in the category of hitting lotto. But I do appreciate the time and the commitment, and quite frankly, the voices and the passion, right? I think what we want to continue to support is that there is an involvement in the communication from both the community and the board, the elected officials and the agencies, independent of whether they see what appears to be just the simple thing to do. So I'll leave it at that for now. Let me move on in the agenda. And again, thank you, Sid, for your report. Let me move on in the agenda to item number 6, which is the chairperson's report. I don't really have much to report because we were supposed to be taking time off, but I do want to mention to everyone who's a board member, if you've happened to see the email I asked Taya to send out, someone who's been a friend to me and someone who I've served with closely for a long time, but also served very closely with Ms. Freibush as the co-chair of the Youth Education and Cultural Affairs Committee. Ms. Dorothea Thompson Manning has passed away. And I had a long conversation with her husband last week, continue to keep in touch with him today because they were very supportive to me at the time when my mother transitioned. So I will never forget the family for that. And so I wanted to just mention that the services will take place. And if anyone knows Dorothea, you know that she was a private person and her battle with her health was something she kept private. And in my respect for her, I'm going to continue to follow that same advice. I'm not going to act differently because she's transitioned to a new shiny place. And so I'm going to respect that. If you were the recipient of the email, then it was intended for you to know what to do. If you weren't, then I ask that you take this time to say a prayer. If you believe in that, everybody should be able to believe in positive thoughts and provide support to the family. So with that, I just want to take a moment to be silent out of respect for her. And we will do the same at the full board meeting, but I also just want to make time to respect her contributions to Community Board 2 and to Brooklyn. Thank you. Dorothea will never be forgotten. So with that, let me move on to any other executive business. I don't think there should be any, but I'm sure Betty will have something to say. Sure, Betty, take yourself off mute and let's hear your wonderful voice.
Yeah, we're hoping for any updates about the vote for the district manager. So that's one thing that, it's been a long time. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that the city government, the mayor's office, will be announcing an office for urban agriculture, which really has to do broadly with food policy, not just food insecurity or growing food, but job development in the food industry and so much more. So I hope that when the board office is asked to host a speaker from that new mayoral office, that we get in on the forefront of this important work.
Thanks, Betty. Any other comments? Okay, great. Community forum. So this is where members, individuals who participated and joined the call tonight, who are not members of the board, either as a member of the executive committee or the full board, have a chance to have comments brought to our attention for no more than 2 minutes. And I ask that you please adhere to that. But if there's anyone who has a comment that they want to share with the community board, and this is a smaller committee, so this is not the full board, it's exec committee, just to highlight that. If you would indicate your name in the chat, let us know your affiliation, and I'll be happy to call on you for 2 minutes of comments. So again, if there's anyone who is not a member of community board 2, if you have comments you want to share, if you would indicate your name in the chat and your affiliation, I'll call upon you. Great. Taya, do we have any new business? And as you come off mute, let me just say, and I've said this to you privately, and certain things in life bear repeating, but Taya has been a tremendous partner to me over the summer and in the months that we've not had anyone in the office but Taya and I. So while Taya is probably 99.9% of the office, I'm that 0.1. And so together we have been we have been exhausted with things that we've done. I've watched Taya grow, learn, navigate the political landscape, the agency landscape, and I've yet to have call on Taya. And I will say this, admittedly, surprisingly, because you've been in the office by yourself, I will say surprisingly, yet to come back with a solid answer. Right. And so I want to commend you and publicly say I appreciate the way you have made the office continue to run. And I would dare say if people didn't know, outside of maybe some city agencies, that we didn't have a fully staffed, you have not seen any degradation in the service and the quality that comes out of community board 2. So Taya, I applaud you for that publicly and privately. And with that, do we have any new business?
Can't follow up that. Thank you, Chair Singletary. And no, we do not have any new business.
Okay, great. And so not everybody rushed, but I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Good night, everyone. Get home safe.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.